Good morning. I am Karyn Nelthropp and I will be delivering 5 contrasting speeches which differ in audience age, number and setting. To begin with, I will be delivering a sermon at my mother's first death anniversary memorial service, where approximately 100 families are present. A very good afternoon to everyone. Thank you all for being here today. 1 year since my mom left this earth. Thank you, Father Karyn, for sharing those beautiful and timely words with us earlier. And thank you for reading from Isaiah chapter 66, verse 13. As a mother comforts her child, so will I comfort you. What a powerful image. The prophet Isaiah compares God's love and comfort to a mother's love. There is something deeply intimate and deeply sacred about that comparison. A mother's love is instinctive, sacrificial, and unwavering. It forgives without conditions. And for me, my mother was the epitome of that love. She loved not just in words, but in actions, in the way she taught, fed, forgave, and even scolded with gentleness. Her love had no expiry date and no conditions. It was a reflection of God's own heart. She would often tell me, "You'll only understand what it means to be a mother when you have 6 kids of your own." And I'd laugh and say, "Well, then you will have to take care of them for me." It was our little joke. But as time passed, and especially in the past year, I have come to realize what she meant. A mother's love isn't just about the number of children she has or the tasks she performs. It's about how much of herself she pours into the people that she loves. And isn't that just like God? God's love comforts with tenderness. It shows up when we least expect it and need it the most. It forgives without conditions. It corrects without condemnation. And it stays long after the world expects it to fade. That's the kind of love my mum gave me. And in her life, I saw glimpses of the divine. Though she embraced the Christian faith after marriage, her understanding of Jesus and her quiet yet profound walk with him shaped my own. Sometimes I'll still feel like I hear her voice calling me into the kitchen or feel her presence humming a hymn in the morning light. And on other days, the weight of her absence is so heavy, it feels like time has stretched endlessly. Yet even in the ache of loss, there is comfort. Comfort in knowing that the love she showed me lives on in the way that God continues to love and sustain me. Just as she was always present, so is he, quietly and faithfully. And I find peace in the promise from Revelations, that one day we will be reunited, that every tear will be wiped away, and death will be no more. So as we gather here today, we celebrate a life that pointed us to a greater love. Let us love as she did. Let us comfort one another as God has comforted us. And let us live, knowing that one day we will see her again. Thank you all for being here to honor her memory. May the God of all comfort continue to be with you as he has been with us. Thank you. Next, I will be narrating a story to a group of 15 6-year-olds as part of a storytelling session at Camp Sunnyside Arc. Okay kids, settle down, settle down. It's story time. So, before we begin with the story, can anyone tell me what a gingerbread man is? No, he's not a real man. He's a gingerbread story is The Gingerbread Man. Alright, okay, so let's begin. There was once an old woman and she made a gingerbread man. She used sugar for his coat and currants for his eyes. And doesn't that look delicious? She put him into the oven to bake. And when it was done, she heard a little voice crying, "Let me out! Let me out!" And when she opened the oven door, what do you think she saw? The little gingerbread man jumped right out of the oven and ran right out of the house. The little old woman tried to stop him, saying, "Stop, little gingerbread man! Stop, little gingerbread man!" But no, the little gingerbread man said, "Run, run as fast as you can! You can't catch me! I'm the gingerbread man!" And he ran until he met a cow. And what did the cow say? You look better than my grass. But what did the gingerbread man say? He said, "Run, run as fast as you can. You can't catch me. I'm the gingerbread man." And he ran until he met a horse. And the horse told him, "Nay, you look too good to eat. Nay." But what did the gingerbread man say? Come on. "Run, run as fast as you can. You can't catch me. I'm the gingerbread man." And finally, he ran until he met a fox. And the fox said, "Stop, little gingerbread man. I want to talk to you." But again, the gingerbread man just kept running until he reached a river. So he couldn't cross the river. The fox told him, "Jump on my nose and I'll take you across the river." And that's exactly what he did. The little gingerbread man jumped right on the fox's nose and they swam together across the river. But when they reached the other side, what did the fox do? The fox opened his mouth up wide and whoop, the gingerbread man slid right in. Chomp, chomp, and gone. So, can anyone tell me what the moral of today's story was? No, it's not that gingerbread is tasty, it's that you should be careful who you become friends with. Can anyone guess what we're doing today? We're baking gingerbread cookies! Okay, hurry along kids, hurry along. Next, I will be delivering a persuasive speech on the topic Shattering Stigmas Together as part of the International Women's Day at a flea market organized by the Spheral Foundation, where approximately 100 attendees are present. A very good afternoon to everyone here today, and a very happy Women's Day to all the lovely, strong, and inspiring women among us. I'm Karyn Nelthropp, a volunteer at the Spheral Foundation, and I'd like to begin by thanking each and every one of you for patronizing our stalls, supporting our cause, and being present today. We at the Spheral Foundation strive every single day to make the world better for women, and we believe that change begins in our own communities. But we cannot empower women without talking about the stigmas that they face every single day. So, what is stigma? Stigma is a mark of shame, discrimination, or social judgment that isolates and silences people, often simply for being who they are or going through natural human experiences. And unfortunately, being a woman means battling stigma silently, especially around menstruation, pregnancy and childbirth, and menopause. So let's begin with menstruation. Menstruation is a natural part of life, yet it is still surrounded by stigma, misinformation, and in many parts of the world, even shame. Due to this, millions of girls and women don't get access to basic menstrual hygiene products or even proper education about their own bodies. According to an article published by We Care Menstrual Health, only 70% of adolescent girls were aware of menstruation before they started their first period. The lack of awareness paired with the stigma leads to unhygienic practices, infections, and girls dropping out of school. Let's now move on to pregnancy and childbirth. In many parts of our country, women are discouraged from accessing proper medical help during pregnancies. According to a paper titled "Discrimination Begins in the Womb," this is especially true when they're carrying a female child. There is a stigma that frames women as weak or seeking unnecessary help, and this prevents them from getting the care that they truly need. Some even hide their pregnancies, fearing judgment or abandonment. And lastly, we must talk about the silent stigma of menopause. According to a Harvard Business Review article, menopausal women in the workplace often feel misunderstood, dismissed, or ridiculed. A woman who experiences hot flashes, fatigue, or mood swings is seen as unprofessional or emotional instead of being offered support and empathy. Let's be clear. Menopause is not a weakness. It is a natural phase of life. Yet many women go through it in silence, fearing career loss or social embarrassment. Every girl deserves to manage her period with dignity. Every woman deserves access to basic sanitary products and the freedom to speak without judgment. And every community must be a safe space to learn, grow, and support one another. To the fathers, brothers, husbands, and friends here today, you are a part of this too. Break the stigma by listening, learning, and standing by the women in your life. To the women here, your experiences are valid. Your body is not a burden. Your story matters. So on this Women's Day, let's not just wear a badge or cut a cake. Let's break the stigma together. Thank you. Next, I will be delivering a speech based on topic 8, a speech based on the candidate's choice. For this, I will be delivering a news feature for television told twice, once for a popular entertainment channel, and again using the same facts for a serious news program. The audience is the viewers watching online. Good evening and welcome to the Tonight Show with Karyn Nelthropp, where the tea is hot, the takes are sharp, and apparently the sky is no longer the limit. Tonight's headline: Blue Origin made history by launching its New Shepard rocket, the first ever all-female crew to cross the Kármán line. That's 62 miles above sea level, or as I like to call it, just high enough to escape Twitter for 11 minutes. So let's see who made it to the outer space guest list. There was teen pop sensation Katy Perry. Yes, the same lady who was spotted as a burger at the Met Gala. There was executive Lauren Sanchez, Jeff Bezos' fiancée, who basically made this her honeymoon in orbit. There was journalist Gary King, who said, "Oprah, hold my purse, I'm going to space." As well as aerospace queen Aisha Bo, the only person actually qualified to be there, Amanda Nukin, a Nobel Prize nominee, fighting for justice even in zero gravity, and Karyn Flynn, a health investor, because clearly nothing says wellness like hurling your body into the stratosphere at Mach 3. But it didn't land smoothly. Not the capsule. That did. like a polite elevator. What I'm talking about is public opinion. The backlash came in hot. Climate critics, celebrity skeptics, and people just mad that they can't get a window seat on Indigo while Katie is out here Instagramming from the edge of the stratosphere. Wendy's, yes, the burger joint tweeted, "Can we send her back?" Y'all, even when the fast food chains are getting sassy with space travel, you know Earth has officially entered its petty era. But let's be real. Love it or mock it. This was a milestone. 6 women in space on their own terms. And if that includes mascara, music, and a perfectly planned selfie angle, then so be it. So here's your takeaway from The Tonight Show. If you hear California Girls echoing from the sky, don't panic. It's not an alien invasion. It's just Blue Origin's next influencer collab. Until next time, this is Karyn Nelthropp signing off. Good evening. I am Karyn Nelthropp reporting for Fox News. Tonight's headline is making history around the world, not just for its ambition, but also for its optics. On April 14, 2025, Blue Origin made history by launching its first ever all-female crew aboard its New Shepard rocket, marking the NS-31 mission as a milestone in gender representation in space. According to Blue Origin's official website, the 6-member crew included pop icon Katy Perry, journalist Gail King, executive Lawrence Sanchez, aerospace engineer Aisha Bo, space policy advocate Amanda Nguyen, and documentarian Karyn Flynn. Together, they soared past the Kármán line, the internationally recognized edge of space, traveling over 100 kilometers above Earth and returning safely after an 11-minute suborbital journey. The flight was touted as a symbol of female empowerment and technological progress. It featured not only scientific payloads and lunar gravity research, but also a cultural message. But not all reactions were celebratory. Critics have called this a PR stunt, accusing Blue Origin of blurring the lines between space exploration and space tourism. Some commentators, including celebrities and scientists alike, have raised concerns about the glamorization of commercial spaceflight and whether or not the mission trivialized space science. Even fast food giant Wendy's joined the conversation with a tongue-in-cheek tweet. So where does this leave us? On one hand, it's a triumph of optics and inclusivity, but on the other hand, it sparks a serious debate about the intersection of celebrity, science, and spectacle. So as we await Blue Origin's next mission, one thing is for certain: the conversation about who gets to go to space and why is far from over. I'm Karyn Nelthropp, and you're watching Fox News. Stay with us for more updates. From Earth to orbit, we're keeping our eyes on the skies. Now I will be delivering an after-dinner speech on the occasion of my best friend's wedding, where approximately 500 guests of all ages are present. Good evening, everyone. May I have your attention? Good evening. I'm Karyn Nelthropp, Aloka's maid of honor. And in case you didn't know that, I think you're at the wrong wedding. Aloka and Clyde, or should I say the GNO kids, Sandy and Danny, the couple of the year, the lives of the party, and the ones who don't remember it the next morning. My down the aisle 2 hours ago. And Clyde, you finally found a partner before retirement. I think the person who is most proud is your dear dad, Kevin. Let's hear it for Clyde, everyone. Let's start from the very beginning, the GNO kids. Or for those of you who don't know what that means, the Girls' Night Out Mothers Group's offspring have been inseparable, literally since conception. I mean, look at us here, aren't we adorable? Also, as you can see, the VIP guest for the evening was the UAE ambassador and his entertainer. We've collectively attended so many themed events and done so much role playing that we could very well start our own theatre company and put Bollywood to shame. Also, as you can see here, Aloha is the biggest diva of our group, following in the footsteps of her mother, of course. I'm sure everyone can agree that any games night would be incomplete without her humorous one-liners that catch us all off guard. And also, Aloha and Clyde have been practicing their first dance for years now. If you don't believe me, have a look. In case you didn't know how Clyde decided to charm Aloha, he used Christie's 1960 Dodge Custom Royal, which was featured in a Bollywood movie. See, I told you we can outshine the industry. Whether it's crime-themed birthdays or the cast of Grease, Aloha and Clyde are always our designated choreographers, costume designers, and entertainers. In fact, none of our dances would be complete without their pizzazz. But let's talk about this night, the first wedding of the GNO kids, and I'm sure the first of many more. It's been a while since we've painted the town red, hasn't it? I'm sure all of our parents are itching to see what the outcome of this evening is going to be after this reunion. But let's just hope that the lovely couple stays awake to see the end and hopefully remembers their wedding night the next morning. But on a serious note, since I received strict instructions that this should be a toast and not a roast, I think I speak on behalf of all your near and dear ones when I say that we knew that you were destined to be together. You'll have been the lives of the party, and now we look forward to being aunts and uncles to the next generation, Sandy and Danny. So please, get to work. Okay, I'm sure you are all itching to bombard the bar and get this party started. So without further ado, please join me in raising a toast to the lovely couple. Here's to the 3 rings of marriage: the engagement ring, the wedding ring, and the suffering. Cheers! I will now be sharing my views on Queen Elizabeth I's speech to the troops at Tilbury, which was delivered on the 9th of August, 1588. This speech is a powerful and iconic piece of oratory that showcases her skillful use of the language to inspire and to motivate her soldiers. The speech was delivered as the Spanish Armada threatened England's shores. The speech follows a classic rhetorical structure, beginning with an introduction, followed by the main body, and ending with a call to action. The introduction establishes the context of the imminent threat and emphasizes her personal commitment to her people's safety. The body of the speech presents a series of rhetorical devices and persuasive appeals, building tension and excitement. And the conclusion rallies the troops by invoking a sense of national identity and duty. Queen Elizabeth I uses various rhetorical devices such as anaphora, metaphor, antithesis, and religious imagery. For instance, Elizabeth uses repetition for emphasis, repeating phrases such as I know, I myself, and I have. This creates a rhythmic and memorable cadence, reinforcing her authority and conviction. One of the most striking devices used by Elizabeth is ethos, or appeal to her own credibility and authority. By presenting herself not as a distant monarch, but as a fellow participant in the defense of England, she builds trust. She famously declares, I know I have the body of a weak and feeble woman, but I have the heart and stomach of a king, and of the King of England too. Here she acknowledges her gender and apparent vulnerability in a patriarchal society, only to turn it into a strength. Elizabeth also uses contrast to underscore key points, such as when she famously declares, I am come amongst you, as you see, not for my recreation or disport, but by being resolved, in the midst and the heat of battle, to live and to die amongst you all. Queen Elizabeth I also uses pathos, stirring her soldiers' emotions. Her reference to laying down her life for my God, for my kingdom, and my people demonstrates self-sacrifice and appeals to her soldiers' sense of loyalty and pride. By presenting herself not as a leader, but as a fellow soldier in the war, she transforms the nation's struggle into her own and a shared cause. To imbibe the text imaginatively, the presenter would have to engage in immersive visualization by placing themselves on the battlefield and imagining the faces of her troops. And this would help the presenter to convey a genuine sense of solidarity in the delivery. The presenter could also use powerful body language to complement the words, standing tall and projecting confidence while using hand gestures sparingly but purposefully to accentuate key points, as well as maintaining eye contact with the audience, could also establish a connection. When preparing to reenact Queen Elizabeth I's speech at Tilbury, three major vocal techniques, diaphragmatic breathing, projection drills, and pitch variation are especially valuable. Diaphragmatic breathing helps a speaker draw breath deeply from the abdomen rather than the throat. This provides stamina and control so that the voice remains strong and steady throughout the performance. Projection drills help the speaker to carry their voice over a large distance, echoing how Queen Elizabeth would have addressed her troops in the open air. And lastly, pitch variation prevents monotony and adds persuasive power. For instance, a lower pitch can convey authority in lines about strength and kingship, whereas a rise in pitch can inject a passion and urgency in lines about loyalty, unity, and pride. Together, these techniques can help the speaker to deliver the speech with clarity and the commanding energy that it demands. By incorporating all of these techniques into their delivery, a speaker can effectively bring Queen Elizabeth I's speech to life, and they can capture her essence and her conviction and leadership through the delivery. Thank you. Moving on to my reflection tasks. From section 1, I will be answering questions 1 and 2. Question 1. What is the imagined context or background of one of your presentation pieces, and how did it affect your delivery? To answer this question, I will be talking about my first speech, the sermon. I imagined delivering the sermon at my mother's first death anniversary memorial service in St. Patrick's Cathedral. Since this was a church, I wasn't allowed to actually use a presentation. So what I did was I kept the poster with the image of my mother constant, as my words would be enough to convey the message. And I imagined delivering this speech speech towards the end of the Mass. And after I deliver the speech, I imagine that the audience or the people, the congregation, would listen to the notices and disperse. For my placements and my props, I used a blazer and I used the podium to give it a more formal feel. For my technical props, I used the clicker and I used the PowerPoint presentation with a hymn to echo the solemn feeling that I was trying to create. Question 2. How did you choose where to deliver, where to use technology or visual aids in your program, and what challenges did they present in performance? For all my speeches, I used a PowerPoint presentation along with props. For my first speech, the sermon, which was delivered at my mother's death anniversary, as I said earlier, I used the poster with the picture of my mother, Constant, and as well as the podium. For my second speech, I kept the background blank, as I wanted to use the storybook in the easel the old-fashioned way. For my third speech, the persuasive speech, I put the poster of the Spheral Foundation among other images and statistics to add more power to my words. For the news feature, I used a lot of technicals with trying to make the jingle sound authentic, as well as the look of the background with the breaking news slide, along with the pictures and the details and everything. For my last speech, I chose this speech specifically so that I could use the pictures and the memories videos that we have for the toast, and it was a task to clip the laughter on time and make sure everything went correctly. Moving on to section 2, question 3. How did you prepare vocally, physically, and mentally to sustain your energy and focus through the presentation program? To prepare myself vocally, I used the box breathing technique, which is where you inhale, hold, and exhale, and hold again for 4 seconds each. Allow me to demonstrate. This helps you control your breathing and increases your lung capacity. Physically, I did a warm-up before appearing for my exam. I walked around for a little bit. I did some stretches to help my stamina, help conserve my energy and provide stamina. And mentally, I gave myself numerous pep talks to help myself push through this performance without any hitches or any fumbles or even stuttering my words. Question 4. What pre-presentation checks would you do to ensure that you were working in a safe environment both for yourself and the audience? For pre-presentation checks, I made sure that all of my attire changes and all of my props were kept in order of presentation, and made sure that they were easily available so that I could do quick changes and make sure that the breaks between my performances weren't a lot. For technicals, I made sure that the clicker was working, the speakers were loud enough to be heard, and make sure that the PPT was in flow, make sure all of my surroundings were comfortable and clear. And for myself, I made sure that I was comfortable, that my voice was able to push through this performance for the duration of it without any mistakes or any hitches. And section 3, question 6. How did you choose the pieces for your program and decide on the running order? All the pieces that I've chosen for this program are things that I deeply believe in, and they are very special to me. So for my first speech, the sermon, I had recently delivered a sermon like this at my mother's death anniversary earlier this year, and I thought that it would be a lovely sentiment to have her with me through this exam, because she is one of the reasons that I am appearing for this exam. Next, for my story, again, my mother did the same story, did a story like this for her exam, and I like the way that she put the characters to life, and she made it all look so interesting with the actions and the costumes. And I also wanted to showcase my acting skills in this speech. Next, for my third speech, the persuasive speech, I had done a speech like this for an earlier exam, and it's something that I deeply believe in. So I wanted to elaborate on it and make it more profound. So with more in-depth research about this cause, and make sure that I could get through to people's emotions and to people's hearts. For my news feature, I chose this specifically so that I could use, I could modify it for television, and I could use a lot of technicals and a lot of pictures. And at the time I was choosing my speeches, the Blue Origin story was in the headlines and it was very interesting. So I thought that it would be nice to show it in contrasting speeches, an entertaining one being sarcastic for a talk show, and a serious one for an actual news program giving the information as necessary. And lastly, for my last speech, the after dinner toast, I thought it would be very funny to marry two of my friends, and knowing that we have so many memories and so many videos with each other, it was very easy to write the speech and to finish it. And performing it also made it easier, imagining everyone around us, all my friends, the couple. And personally, I thought it would add to the humor of the speech if I just embarrassed them a little bit with the videos that I had shown. Thank you.